He is known for being an English journalist, political philosopher, and novelist. He is recognized for being one of the first exponents of utilitarianism and the first modern proponent of anarchism. He is William Godwin, a philosopher who made significant contributions to the field of philosophy. In the bustling streets of late 18th century London, a man named William Godwin emerged as a radical thinker and a champion of individual liberty. Born with an insatiable curiosity for knowledge, he dabbled in various professions, ultimately becoming an influential journalist, political philosopher, and novelist. During this time, Godwin published two remarkable books that would propel him into the heart of the city's radical circles. An Inquiry Concerning Political Justice, his seminal work, shook the foundations of political institutions, challenging the very idea of governance. In this groundbreaking treatise, Godwin advocated for utilitarianism, a doctrine that sought to maximize the overall happiness and well-being of humanity. His ideas were nothing short of revolutionary at a time when traditional hierarchies held sway. Simultaneously, Godwin released his intriguing novel, Things as They Are, or The Adventures of Caleb Williams. This early mystery novel offered a scathing critique of aristocratic privilege, exposing the corruption and abuse of power within the upper echelons of society. With this literary masterpiece, Godwin showcased his talent for storytelling while advancing his philosophical beliefs. However, as a controversial figure in an era of conservative backlash, Godwin faced vehement criticism. His unorthodox personal life, characterized by his marriage to the feminist writer Mary Wollstonecraft and the subsequent publication of her biographical memoir, caused public outcry. Despite the adversity, Godwin persevered, cementing his place in literary history. With his second wife, Mary Jane Clairmont, Godwin pioneered the Juvenile Library, a publishing venture that allowed his family to create and translate children's books. Their efforts left an enduring imprint on British literature and nurtured a love of storytelling in future generations. William Godwin, a beacon of intellectualism, challenged the status quo and fearlessly advocated for individual freedom and social reform. His influence on British literature and literary culture can still be felt today, reminding us all to question authority and champion the fundamental rights of every human being. The young William Godwin grew up in a strict Calvinist household, his parents deeply rooted in their religious beliefs. Born in Wisbech, Cambridgeshire, he was the seventh child in a family of 13. His father, John, was a nonconformist minister who moved the family to various towns in search of better prospects. Despite the stern upbringing, William had a close relationship with his mother and harbored affection for her throughout his life. Inspired by his family's history of dissent and religious discrimination, Godwin initially intended to follow in his father's footsteps and become a minister. At the age of 11, he became the only pupil of Samuel Newton, a fervent Calvinist who instilled in him a deep sense of anti-authoritarianism. Although he eventually rejected Christianity, Godwin retained his Sandemanian roots, which emphasized rationalism and egalitarian ideals. Reflecting on Newton's teachings, Godwin remarked, "He contrived a scheme for damning 99 in 100 of the followers of Calvin." Godwin's intellectual journey continued at the Dissenting Academy in Hoxton when he was 17. Under the guidance of scholars like Andrew Kippis and Abraham Rees, Godwin delved into the works of philosophers such as John Locke, Isaac Newton, and Francis Hutcheson. These studies informed his philosophical stance on determinism and immaterialism. Additionally, exposure to the ideas of Rousseau, Helvetius, and theory broadened Godwin's horizons, making him a strong advocate for republicanism and the rejection of private property. After completing his education in 1778, Godwin took on the role of a minister in Ware. It was during this period that he encountered Joseph Fawcett, an influential figure who greatly impacted Godwin's thinking. In 1780, after reading Theory's System of Nature, Godwin embraced determinism and materialism, which shaped his philosophical outlook. However, conflicts with other dissenting ministers over the administration of the Eucharist led Godwin to resign from his ministerial post and pursue a career as a writer in London. In the late 18th century, a philosopher named William Godwin emerged with a radical perspective on politics and society. His early writings showcased his revolutionary ideas, as well as his belief in the power of reason over faith. Godwin's philosophy would not only challenge the artificial structures of government but also offer insights into the importance of education and openness in our daily lives. During the late 1780s, Godwin found himself at a crossroads. He advocated for the subordination of faith to reason, recognizing that blind devotion to religious beliefs could hinder critical thinking. This belief fueled his work as he delved into political pamphlets and speeches, denouncing state power as artificial and promoting the libertarian potential of education. He believed that through knowledge and understanding, authoritarian governments could be abolished, paving the way for a more egalitarian society. As Godwin pursued his literary career, he assumed various roles as a satirical critic and a political journalist. His works were full of fictitious reviews and sharp commentaries on the political climate. Through this work, he aimed to expose the flaws of the ruling Tory party and shed light on the colonial rule in Ireland and India. His predictions of a revolutionary wave in Europe resonated with readers, painting a picture of the societal changes that were on the horizon. However, it was through his friendship with Thomas Holcroft that Godwin experienced a profound personal transformation. Influenced by Holcroft's arguments, Godwin rejected Christianity and embraced atheism. This shift allowed him to view education in a new light, emphasizing the importance of an open and honest relationship between tutor and pupil. This approach fostered a sense of trust and intellectual growth, enabling individuals to question established norms and pursue their own paths of enlightenment. As the French Revolution erupted, Godwin's philosophy became even more prominent. He saw the events unfolding across the Channel as a continuation of the ideals and spirit of Britain's own glorious revolution. Godwin's association with the Revolution Society and his encounter with Richard Price further solidified his radical beliefs. He embraced Price's concept of a patriotic love that upheld freedom of religion, representative democracy, and the right to revolution. These ideas clashed with Edmund Burke's conservative reflections, giving rise to a pamphlet war that caught the attention of the public. In the midst of this controversy, Godwin embarked on his magnum opus. With the support of George Robinson, he dedicated himself to writing his inquiry concerning political justice. This work aimed to condense the best and most liberal ideas of political science into a coherent system. Its publication in 1793 coincided with the execution of Louis XVI and the outbreak of war in France, making it a timely and thought-provoking contribution to the discourse on justice and societal change. William Godwin, a renowned philosopher and writer, first crossed paths with Mary Wollstonecraft, an influential feminist and author, at a dinner hosted by their mutual publisher, Joseph Johnson. It was there that Godwin became captivated by Wollstonecraft's intellect and spirit. However, their paths diverged for several years as Wollstonecraft embarked on an adventure to France to witness the revolution and even had a child with an American adventurer named Gilbert Imlay. During her time away, Wollstonecraft wrote a book based on her experiences, which Godwin read and found himself deeply enamored with its author. He later expressed, "If ever there was a book calculated to make a man in love with its author, this appears to me to be the book." Little did he know that their paths would intersect once again, and their connection would blossom further. In 1796, Godwin and Wollstonecraft rekindled their acquaintance, and their admiration for each other flourished into a profound friendship, romantic attraction, and love. Their love soon bore fruit when Wollstonecraft became pregnant. To ensure their child would be recognized as legitimate by society, they made the decision to marry, despite Godwin's previous stance against the institution of marriage. Their union, however, brought about unexpected consequences. It was revealed that Wollstonecraft had never been legally married to Gilbert Imlay, resulting in the loss of many friends and public scrutiny. This turn of events also led to criticisms directed at Godwin, who had advocated for the abolition of marriage in his seminal work, Political Justice. Nonetheless, they stood by each other, and on March 29, 1797, they exchanged their vows at St. Pancras. The couple settled into neighboring houses in Somers Town, allowing them to maintain their independence while nurturing their deep connection. Their joy was further amplified when on August 30, 1797, Mary Wollstonecraft Godwin, their daughter, was born. Tragically, this happiness was short-lived as complications from childbirth claimed Wollstonecraft's life just 10 days later. In an instant, Godwin's world shattered. Not only did he lose the love of his life, but he also became responsible for the care of their two young daughters, Mary and Fanny. The grief and turmoil he experienced during this time were immeasurable. Yet, in his letters, he expressed his unwavering love and concern for his daughters, emphasizing the importance of their well-being and security. Godwin's journey as a philosopher and a father continued, but the loss of Wollstonecraft remained a profound source of pain. In his pursuit of literary success, he faced disappointment when his play, Antonio, or The Soldier's Return, failed to find success at the Theatre Royal, Drury Lane in December 1800.
Do you want to explore more philosophers? Who do you want to see featured next? Subscribe and leave a comment below to let me know. I'll see you in the next video.